Hey everyone, welcome to the Salty Fan, the show where the takes are saltier, the scores are more depressing, and you just want to shoot yourself because your team sucks. And I'm me. My name is me. It'll always be me because I am moi. I am the saltiest and the most bitterest of fans, depressed by years of rooting for teams that have always failed me because I am a masochist and I just love the feeling of getting destroyed week by week until your team trades everyone or they just quit, retire, and you just, jump off a cliff. It's all good. It's all fine. It's all great. But this is the first episode of The Salty Fan. And starting this off, we're doing week 2 because week 1 was just a cluster of everything. So week 2, we're starting this out with the NFL. So the first game was a Thursday night game. And to commemorate this, well, really trash is probably the best way to describe this. Basically, Carolina Panthers, which talent-wise should destroy Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers. But Cam Newton ain't himself anymore. You got the freaking farm. He's all like, whoo. Christian McCaffrey's all like, dear baby Jesus, let me catch a pass and get a touchdown because I have to carry this team on my back. So because of that, and because, well, I feel like they're feeling pretty salty right now, given the situation they have. But it ain't that great, but it ain't that terrible. They're going to get some nice iodized salt into their little bin. See? Look at that. A nice little bit of ionized salt. Because they're feeling a little bit salty. It ain't great. They knew that Cam Newton was going to be great, but Christian McCaffrey's still hanging in there. So they only get a little bit of salt. But Tampa, I know you. That was your Super Bowl because your team ain't making it into the playoffs for anything. So you get a bunch of salt because you're still in with the playoffs, but you beat the Panthers. So Super Bowl accomplished. Bruce Arians, you get a gold star. Putting this into our cups of waste. Here we go. On to the next game. Ravens versus the Cardinals. This was the duel of two young, I would say, rising talents in the NFL world. Lamar Jackson showing up and showing off in front of everyone. Because he, honestly, going to be a pretty good quarterback one day. Might not be amazing, but damn, he's going to be a great quarterback. Kyler Murray, wait and see. A lot of yards in the garbage time. I think 345, about that. Good yardage, but no touchdown. So, fantasy people, I would just hold off on that for a bit if I were you. But anyway, Cardinals, they got maybe a couple years, some picks, because they're going to be terrible, like some nice draft picks. We're going to give them a little bit of a ice cream salt kind of day, because, they're a bit salty, they lost, but it wasn't a terrible loss, so nice bit of ice cream salt. And we'll call it a cream puff loss. How about that? Because, they got a good future. But the Ravens, though, their future, on that defense is going to be bright. So put that into our bin of the waste. Next up, Chargers and the Lions. And well, oh my God. Okay, yeah. Chargers got to fix some things with that. Like, Lions should not have won that game. Like, nowhere on earth. They just blew a massive lead to the Cardinals and tied them. Okay? And the Chargers defense, granted though, it's been hobbled. Just destroyed is probably the best way of putting it. They have no run defense. Derwin James is gone. And that's just it just makes me cry because he's a great player. And I cry myself to sleep every night of the week just because, baby Jesus, get better. Anyway, basically, Detroit, their defense was good. Darius Slay, though, Keenan Allen basically mugged him, or slayed him, as he likes to say. But, so, just, Chargers fans, the very few that there are, about 9, Phil Rivers' children, add that to the mix. But other Raiders fans, incredibly salty. That was an easy win game. Let's be honest here. Detroit ain't anything. So, because of that, they're going to be having some coarse, very coarse, kosher salt. Because Gosh, you know, that wasn't even a kosher beat. That was just a slap in the face with extra crispiness to it. So they're going to get, oh yeah, look at that. Salting it up. Extra coarse. Gonna rub it in. All that Spanos and San Diego love right there. Got a nice rub salt in those wounds. But that was just, God have mercy for Chargers fans. They are feeling it right now. Next up, the Colts versus the Titans. All right, so Jacoby Brissett coming in for Andrew Luck second week. He did pretty good the first week against the Chargers. He racked up some yardage. He did a fairly well job. This game, he did a pretty decent job as well. It wasn't that great, wasn't that terrible. But Tennessee, for the love of God, be consistent. This is getting ridiculous. Y'all just stomped. Like, just pounded into the ground the Cleveland Browns' hopes and dreams. Like they were just giving their tickets away. It was like 2016, 2017 all over, and they're like, what the hell is this? We have OBJ, we have Baker Mayfield, we have Chubb. I mean, bruh, that was, I gotta say, the funniest thing in the world. I loved it to death, but consistency is key here, guys. So I'm gonna say you just get some regular old salt because, let's be honest here, ain't that terrible of a loss. It's a division rival, but still, y'all beat the Browns the week before. So they're 1-1, which is better than everyone was going to give you credit for. Because let's be honest here, you really don't have a quarterback, really. Like Marcus Mariota, and then you have Tannehill. Oh, but Tannehill, yeah, no, you guys got a quarterback issue. Like your coach, though. I do like your coach. It's going to be, you guys are basically, you know, Patriots South. But are a decent team, probably like an 8-8 kind of team. But hey, you guys have been steadily improving over the years. And you just need a quarterback, honestly. Getting a quarterback in there, y'all could be maybe you can play off, you know, maybe make it into a divisional round kind of thing. But gotta say, I am not feeling that bad for the Colts, though. They're actually doing pretty well without Andrew Luck. I gotta say, I'm impressed. Even without that abrupt exit, they're still doing far better than anyone would give them credit for. So, next up, 49ers, Bengals. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was an ass whooping. This destroyed Cincinnati. Gosh, I'm not from Cincinnati, so I have no idea what it is. But basically, the 49ers struck it rich, struck some gold, and just demolished all the hopes and dreams that Bengals had after last week, because I mean, the Red Rifle was slinging it last week, and then this week it was back to the same old bungles, as the Yinzers like to call them. But you know, being honest here, it was booty, straight booty, and I am not the 49ers. I'm kind of going mild with and stuff like that. 49ers should be decent. They're not going to be like the magical 49ers from the early 2010s, but they're going to be so-so this year. Next year, once they get the chemistry going and stuff, they'll be a lot better. But until then, they're a decent team. Nothing crazy. I mean, they're 2-0. I mean, they played Tampa and the Bengals. I mean, it ain't like they play anyone hard. It's like the freaking Ravens. They played Miami and then Arizona at Baltimore. Not a hard schedule, but it happens that way. Moving on. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot him the salt thing. But that's because it was, Bengals already know what's up. It's terrible. Let's get them regular salt. They know they're trash. Who cares? Honestly, it's the Bengals. Sorry, Cincinnati. I don't love you. Let's see. Jaguars and Texans. So, there's a lot of headlines about this game. Jaguars honestly should have won. I mean, their backup QB, Mr. Mustache, is not terrible. He's actually decent. He's actually a decent backup QB. I mean, wouldn't start unless you count Ryan Fitzpatrick self-starting, but I'd say he's decent for a backup QB, and he's doing a good job, as a game manager, keeping it in and stuff. But he fairly well could have won that game. But Doug Marrone. Oh, and Jalen Ramsey. That is just, I mean, Texans, they got their own. They should be a lot better. They were almost beat the Saints in New Orleans, and then they do this against the Jaguars. It was just, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, Jaguars, you blew it. straight up. But and then Jalen Ramsey wants to trade, so he's probably going to Chargers, Raiders. God have mercy, not the Patriots, because then you might as well throw the TV out the window, and it's on next year, you know, off season, the new off season Super Bowl. Who wins the free agency? So we're gonna give them some extra course, good old Jacksonville salt. Look at that, right from the Atlantic into the hearts and minds of all those sad bunch of people. It's all right. You won't be good for, oh, I don't know, ever, probably. It's going to be terrible for y'all. All right, moving on. Vikings-Packers. I was watching this live, and I'm not in person because I'm poor, but I was watching this on a television screen on a forum site that posts links to certain abilities to watch certain videos online that are live and football. And Packers just should have ran the Vikings over. But the Vikings just decided to, keep it close, keep it interesting. They came back for a little bit, and then Aaron Rodgers threw a hissy fit, But overall, the Packers pretty much decidedly just, game managed the rest of the way after they got that lead in the first quarter. But Vikings, Kirk Cousins, my God, you overpay. I wish I could play quarterback because I would mug the crap out of some of these teams. Because if Kirk Cousins makes $84 million guaranteed, my stupid ass can make probably $5, and I'd be sad. So we're gonna give the Vikings fans, because they know, we're gonna give them a little bit of that course, but for an added benefit of all this, we're gonna add a little bit of the ice cream salt, because they know their issues, and I think at this point they understand what they are, and it ain't Alabama style where it's the Cousins, but it is one James T. Kirk. So take that as you will, and to the bin it goes. Anyway, moving on from there, Cowboys and Redskins, and you could tell me that I was like, the Redskins are with a touchdown? Case Keenum? Bro, you looking like the Vikings Case Keenum with that one. But, he, him and AP, I like AP. He's, blew all his money. But, I wish I had all that money. I hopefully wouldn't blow it. But, live and learn. But Case Keenum looking like Tom Brady for a little bit. First couple drives, but then fizzled out, and Dak Prescott decided, I want the $40 million, and went whoop, 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 and then Amari Cooper, Zeke, freaking old man tight end over there. Whoo, Mr. Jason Witten. I mean, Bald Witten is 2 for 2 in terms of touchdowns and games. So, got to give him credit where credit's due. Thank God he's not in the booth, because that was, oh, God, bad to watch. Him and Booger, it was just, oh. So, anyways, thank God. So, Redskins, though, you got some problems. Injuries. Lots and lots. You just have to open a medical center at the training camp at this point, because it is way too much. So, we're going to give you some some coarse salt, because, and it's Dan Snyder, so that dude's kind of an asshole, so he deserves a little bit. Nice bit of some coarse old salt. Ain't that great? Sprinkle that on your wounds. All right, so Seahawks and Steelers. Oh, God. Moment of silence for Big Ben. May he rest in peace until he retires, hopefully soon, because I just, I don't want him to win anymore, because he already has his rings, and let Mason Rudolph in. He'll be fine. He'll be great. He'll be good. He'll be throwing and slinging it and, losing. But you trade for Minka Fitzpatrick. So, your defense might be stout. We'll see how it goes with that. But you never know. I mean, Big Ben might come back next year, but then you got Juju and all that kind of stuff, where he's now the wide receiver 1. Without AB, it's a lot harder to deal with and balance, because, he's having to deal with the double coverage and all that kind of stuff, where AB would take a bit of that. So it's James Conner. I mean, he ain't no Le'Veon. He's good. He ain't no Le'Veon, though. So, and now you don't have Big Ben. So it's gonna be rough. Tank for Tua or Trevor. if Big Ben doesn't come back. That's the best advice I can give you because y'all need some help. So, let's see what we got here. Some coarse kosher. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, your quarterback's out. You get a lot of this. Look at that. Look at that salt content. This is the Dead Sea. Bruh, you about to be dead, though, honestly. You put that in your mouth, whoo, with the Mojave Desert up in there. So, it's all right. You'll be fine. You know, Tomlin will do something or, you know, someone will have certain relations with someone. But, you know, cover that up. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You're good. Steelers will be fine. But Seahawks, Russell Wilson, I applaud you, Davion Clowney. All you guys out in Seattle, good job. Happy with it. Proud, some might say. But Steelers, some group therapy is in your future. Hit me heads up at the local bar. I'll be coming in. I got some issues myself. So, moving on to the Bills versus the Giants. The battle between New York and New Jersey. Because, as Josh Allen said, we're the only team in New York. Well, that's technically true. I mean, you know, New Jersey Giants, New Jersey Jets. When you play in Jersey, I mean, it's really hard. It's like the San Francisco 49ers. They're technically the Santa Clara 49ers. But don't tell them that. They'll be really mad. But basically, it was just Buffalo's gonna, you know, maybe, because they played Miami 2 times, so they got 2 wins based automatic. So they might win 6-7 games. Their running back ain't that bad though, honestly. I mean, it's like they have a decent young squad. They just need to improve. Their defense is decent. But Giants. It's the era of Daniel Jones now, ladies and gentlemen. It has to be because Eli, much as y'all love him, you gotta get some Daniel Jones some reps in there because he has to be your future because y'all bet the farm on him. So, well, farm relative speaking, but you use a super high pick and unnecessarily, I might add, because y'all could have gotten him. Hell, you use your freaking like 2nd pick in the 1st round to go get him. So that is entirely up to you on what you do with that. But y'all only put Daniel Jones in. But you know, y'all knew where you were, so we're gonna give you a nice little bit of the ice cream salt because you knew you were bad. I don't think you knew you were a bit Buffalo bad, but look at that. Nice and creamy to smother all of your hopes and dreams in. Daniel Jones is your future. Believe in him. You're going to need him. You're going to want him. You might be a Manning. I mean, he basically grew up with the Mannings per se. So hope for the best. Pray for the worst. Pray that OBJ doesn't become, you know, better than he already is because, shoo, that would look real bad if that happened. So, putting that back in there. All righty, folks. Moving on to the Patriots. Okay, Patriots Dolphins. We just, you know, and where's the ice cream salt? They don't even. I don't even talk about this. We just don't even talk about this. All right, this is a cream puff game. Miami, you know what you are. You a freaking high school team, a glorified high school team. Your players want to be gone. Your team is going to be gone. You just need to freaking burn it. Burn it to the ground, Miami style, like some lights flashing, neon, some dudes in bikinis, some girls in some pants. I don't know how you do it down in Miami, but y'all just need to burn it all. So, there goes that squad. Moving on, Chiefs versus the Raiders. My homeboy was straight up slinging it for 1 quarter. That was just... I mean, Raiders don't have Jonathan Abrams, so I mean, you can't really, you know, actually you got to give them crap. Raiders are looking a lot better than last year, though. Give them credit where credit's due. They're looking a lot better than last year. So, can't really be super mad at them. I mean, it is the Chiefs, so they're going to lose, you know, it's going to lose automatically when they play against them. But, you know, they're looking better. Got to give credit where credit's due. They're looking better. I really don't like the Raiders, but I understand when people are doing better, you know, I gotta acknowledge it. They're doing mucho better than they were last year. Last year was terrible. But Derek Carr, 2 interceptions and 4 pass attempts. You're looking good, brother. Nathan Peterman, the GOAT, might be coming in for you. And we know how Nathan Peterman comes in. W's. Big, fat W's for the other team. So, anywho, moving on to the Saints versus the Rams. And, I do apologize. Breaking announcement. The Raiders get regular salt because, I'm an idiot. This is episode 1. So, mistakes were made. They get regular salt. So, moving on to the Rams versus the Saints. I'm not even sure we have enough salt to do this with, just because the amount of salt in the Gulf would not even describe how New Orleans feels after this. I'm not signing any petitions. I refuse to. Granted, though, the Foot Locker employees really do, as Cam Jordan say, need to get their act together because, all right, so they get that touchdown back. I mean, they probably would still lose overall just because Drew Brees is out and their offense without him is useless. Teddy Bridgewater's good. Taysom Hill's good, but they're not Drew Brees. They don't have the repertoire, as the French or Latin would say. So we're going to give them an extra amount because refs, Drew Brees is out. Just, I don't have enough salt for this, but, oh, what the, there you go. Look at that. That's not enough salt, but, you get the idea. I don't have enough. I only got this much, so we're going to add literally all of it, but we'll see what happens with them. So, put that on into there. So, now going on to the Bears versus the Broncos. Bears finally, everything in the world came back to them and granted them a kicker. Who would have thought? Cody Parkey was all like, ta-da, double doink, whoa, and then it's all like, I'm going to go kick, whoop, all the way up there. So, Denver really should have won this game. Honestly, Denver, what the hell are you doing out there? I get you have Joe Flacco, but really though, honestly, y'all, Denver, this is embarrassing. I get that John Elway's a terrible general manager, president, what do you want to call him? He picks the players. He's pretty bad at it. Like those white 6'6" quarterbacks, though. Can't you tell? But Denver, you're gonna get, let's just say, bit of regular salt because you knew you were bad, but bit of extra course too, just because you knew you should have won that game, especially on a Bears kicker. What? That's just, I can't even describe that. That's too much. So we're going to put that right where it belongs. So, moving on. Eagles, Falcons, Sunday Night Football, baby. God, the Eagles were brutalized, honestly. Not in terms of the score. The score was actually fairly close. But injuries, man. Injuries got the Eagles. It's sad. I mean, Deshaun Jackson, man, he's a talent. He's honestly a talent. And then Carson Wentz got nailed. And it's just, and the Eagles' defense is just not as good as it should be, honestly. It's just, and the O-line, they weren't that great that day. I mean, honestly, and then, Aguilar dropped it or was right through his hands. I mean, you gotta be, it's just, Julio, Julio, oh my God. That was just astoundingly good. But still, I know what Eagles, if they want to go to the Super Bowl, they need to win those kind of games, honestly. So, they're going to get some regular salt because they know they're better than that. It's just injuries. It ain't that big of a deal. So, we're going to give them a little bit of injury salt. Add that to the pile. All right. So, now to last night's game. Cleveland, all right. Cleveland is not as good as everyone thought they were, honestly. They're really not. They're like the offseason Super Bowl winners, but they aren't as good as everyone thinks they are. So, them winning being up on the Jets. The Jets won their third. Was it Luke Falk was their third string quarterback? they were on him. And I feel bad for Le'Veon, honestly. He wanted out of Pittsburgh. He did not want this. He had 30-something carries last night. It was just depressing. So, honestly, I pray that he has a good chiropractor because that boy is going to be bending over backwards for this team after this point. Whew, you're Jets, man. You know you bad, but Yeah, I'm just gonna grab this, and you already know what it is. There you go. Look at that. The salt is there, and it's chunky and coarse. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the first ever episode of The Salty Fan and week 2, brought to you by me, myself, and moi. So I hope to see you next week on Tuesday. I'm trying to get these out just because Monday night, I don't want to do it on Monday because I know how the Monday night game goes, and it'll be real important to see what happens. But last night's was pretty terrible, so it happens like that. But if you want to watch more of this show after I have them more out there, or right now, just like, subscribe, comment how terrible I am and how bad I look, because let's be honest, this ain't much to look at, but hopefully the humor makes up for it. So see you next week. Adios, muchachos.